With Robert Reese. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. Get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Come and get them hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. Come and get them hot facts. With Robert Reese. Hot facts. Robert Reese. Hot facts. Hot facts. Robert Reese. Hot facts. Gig economy. Robert Reese. News channel. The gig economy. News channel. Hot facts with Robert Reese. Hot facts with Robert Reese. Hot facts. 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 Hot facts.
Warning shots, warning shots, warning shots. People, Hot Facts with Robert Reese. If you're brand new, I'm Hot Facts with Robert Reese. I am the official news channel of the gig economy. We talk about everything that goes on in the gig economy, from what type of tires you're using on your car, so who said this about someone's mom because they were mad that their video was a little bit better than theirs. We talk about one day we even spoke about somebody asked me, what do you do if you start on yourself? Because as a delivery driver, you may be in the middle of a delivery and you got to get to where you got to get. We talk about everything. We got a political realm inside of the gig economy. We speak about that. We have racial tensions and racial issues going on in the gig economy. So we talk about that. There's a lot to do with the economy, a lot to do with certain markets and how the populations are set up there. We speak about that in the gig economy here on Hot Facts. We have something called Hollywood Gig News, where we focus on a little bit of the entertainment tonight style of the gig world. And then I have a boardroom series also that we focus on individual content creators who are in the gig world, who are having some huge or minimal success. And we look at it and we break it down and we give respect and show love to those gig tubers out there that's out there getting it done. So make sure you check that out. Make sure you check out. I want to give a shout out to Team Hot Facts, the Ace, the DoorDash Revolution. A lot of you guys have maybe been wondering, why haven't we seen Reese and Rev like together on like a stream or anything in like a week or so? I am on a solo mission right now when it comes to tearing down what's been coming up in the gig world. So while we are Team Hot Facts, I have another notebook of like assignments that I pick up. And this assignment that I have right now, I'm out there as an expert, and I'm out there undercover and in cover. I'm all over the place. and I'm getting it in. But one thing we will not do is keep that hot facts in your mouth. So I want to give a shout out to my ace, the DoorDash Revolution. He is also working on a project that he has on the table also. And he's getting into that with the different people in the communities. He's reaching out to Black business owners, and he's getting involved with the community. He's conducting interviews, and he's doing a whole lot behind the scenes when it comes to film and his editing and things like that. While he's doing that, I'm on Front Street whooping the ass so he can go ahead and take care of that. I want to give a shout out to the deputy, TFT, the head of diplomacy, John George. Okay. And I want to go ahead and give a shout out over to the spokesman Cornbread. Put prayers out there for him. Put prayers out there for my mom. She's about to have another dosage of it's going to be a higher level of chemo. So go ahead and keep Mama Reese in your prayers also. And the head of transportation on the rideshare side, that is Uber Jeep AZ. Now, some people have asked me, like, we see that you have memberships and you have a support team, and then you have a hot crew member. Some people have asked, how do you become like Team Hot Facts itself? Well, it's more than just a brand. Like I said, Hot Facts is the truth behind what you stand for. It's a brotherhood that behind the scenes, it is completely different on how we do our thing. And it's a brotherhood with gentlemen that understand we have similar ideology, but we are all different in our own way. And we bring that to the table when we are discussing topics off the camera, when we're doing things like this, asking about your family and how this and this and that's going on. So it's much more than just like, well, it's Team Hot Facts. This is Team Hot Facts. This is my crew. This is my brand. They are all part of it. As Hot Facts blows up, break bread with them. You know what I mean? So there you go, right there. You have other crews, like you have the Lounge and that crew. That's their crew. That's their team right there. So that's who they rock with. That's who they roll with. What's up, Jeff Thomas Black? You look at the Pedro. Pedro's team is Hannibal and the Rideshare crew. That's their crew. That's their team, and that's how they operate while navigating these gig two streets. Okay. So if anybody out there wanted to know how there's definitely not a process on how that happens. It just happens. Turtle says, is this the official news channel of the gig economy? I want to thank you for that advertisement right there. I appreciate that. So it is. What's up, AZ Prod? It is what it is. There is no anything else like that. But we have people that support Hot Facts, like AZ Prod is. Hey, he Team Hot. That's Hot Facts right there. So you got to understand that on the business side, I have my Team Hot Facts, and then here on the channel, we got moderators. We have other people that have similar beliefs. We have people that don't like to see other things happen, and they stand up for it even though they get thrown out of other lives and they get blackballed. They have no fear whatsoever to step on Hot Facts and have it happen. Okay, so it is what it is. Good afternoon. It is what it is. Okay, and we have Necro getting bags. Give a huge shout out to Necro getting bags, starting something with a little bit of a twist on it. It's working. Necro has his solid team over there, and they can get up there. So big ups to Necro getting bags. Big ups to Ricky Knight. Big ups to Tommy and Chucky. Big ups to Tommy and Chucky. They're on there, and a special big ups. Thank you for that super chat, AZ Prod. And a special big ups to Sam Lee for being over there. Sam Lee has found a home. And it's a home where it's funny because when he hops up there, we're able to listen to him speak and then educate him on some stuff. So Sam Lee has a home. I think Necro getting bags for having Sam Lee have a home. Matthew Arenado, what's up to you? Big ups to you there. Eli, what's up, Eli? We got to set up our episode number 9. We are in the works of this episode number 9 of Hot Facts and Eli. It is probably like the hottest show. It is the hottest show. You don't know what Eli's gonna say. You don't know what I'm gonna say. Um, they say crazy things in the chats. We got Jeffrey out there blocking people. Oh, and I did go ahead and update Jeffrey. He was on, if you do emojis, if you do 8 of them, he was telling you, no, you're getting timed out for 5 seconds. So I did put it to 11 this morning. So I did do that. Jeffrey is on now 11. So I'm not going past 11. If you do any more emojis in a sentence, I'm going to just go put it all the way back to 4. All the way back to 4. Me, myself, personally, I have a hard time understanding what some of you guys are typing in English. Some of you guys type in slang. Some of you guys are speaking in code. I do not understand the whole emoji thing whatsoever. I will look at it and not even get what the hell you're saying to me. So as a way for me not to go through that, I just go ahead and keep that on the minimal there. There are some channels that don't even allow you guys to even put the emojis and all that stuff up. They go ahead and kick you out. All right. So big shout out there. And I want to talk about this right here, base pay versus total pay. And now my wife and I, we spoke just briefly about this earlier. And we were watching watching Eli's video, and it was something about an order. It was $100, and he was speaking about, well, there should have been a 15% tip, which would have been the $15. And my wife said, well, I just had that Wingstop order, and it was like $200 worth of Wingstop and Pizza Hut. One customer tipped $5 in cash, but they put that other order there. So I got a question. And this is open for anyone that is in the gig economy right now. The question is, we're going to be going over, okay, the base pay versus the total pay. Let's go ahead and just and get that. We're going to be going over moderators roles on your YouTube channels, and we're going to be going over a couple more things. But let's start with this, the base pay versus the total pay. Because it seems like we have a lot of drivers that get upset when they accept the order. Okay, they accept the order, and when they drop it off, they get upset because they were expecting more from the order. So Eli was saying, and he said that he's watching Hot Facts because he's not in the gig economy, so he's learning little bits as he goes. He said, how much further down can these gig apps, DoorDash, Uber Eats, Grubhub, whatever ones you were doing out there, how much further can they go on base pay? Now, I am a person, because of a sales background, and this for Dad Dash, I forget his new name. Hey, Dad Dash, if you are watching this, I apologize for what I witnessed yesterday. Let me just go ahead and briefly get into this. I apologize for you, man. Well, to you, for what these guys did to you. You have no idea what happened. They were clowning so much. They were clowning you so much. And Cherry Pick was asking, why do you guys always say like absolutely and things like that? And they were talking about you badly so much. Bobby and whoever else was up there, Cherry didn't know why they keep saying it. He asked a question. This is like the only time I will ever be on the side of Cherry. And they said, oh, Dad Dash or whatever his name is. I'm not calling him his new name because it's stupid. That's what he said. That's what Bobby said. And then later on, you hop up on screen. You actually hop up on screen and you're speaking. And when you said absolutely, they were mocking you by doing the absolutely to your face because you didn't know that they were making fun of you and they were talking about you that hard. So if you go back to Flex's live last night, this is Hollywood Gig News now. Go back and watch before you hop up, and even go back when Cherry was on there, because like he was on there for a long time. You got to figure out when he was asking them, why do you guys keep saying absolutely? And they broke it down, and then they just clowned the hell out of you. And then you got up there and they had nothing to say to you like some punks. At least what Hot Facts does is he gets up there. And I think I'm the person that they were trying to mention that when I get up there, I just like to embarrass them. No. Cherry got you last night. Cherry got you with all the fence jumping. And it showed last night that right after that, Dad Dash gets up there, the original Dad Dash, from the name on YouTube. He gets up there and you turn tail and don't even do what you were doing, making fun of him. So that is what Cherry Pick was saying, riding the fence. That's what Cherry Pick was saying right there. But Dad Dash would like what I'm speaking about because of my sales background. And more than often enough, we have to work on straight commission, which means that we are not getting a base pay. We have to go out there and make the sale in order for us to make the money. So we work with no base pay. So we have a little difference of opinion to some of you guys. Okay. Steven says DoorDash and Uber Eats don't care what drivers thinks his pay should be. Soon base pay will be $1, then zero tips, then zero in tips only. After that, imagine you pay $50 a month for rights to use access to the platform, tips only. Now, this is what I was going to be getting into, because I'm saying about my sales background, we normally typically work on straight commission unless you are on a base plus or unless you are working on the draw. The draw means that you're going to work an hourly rate, okay? And let's say you do 40 hours in a week. Let's say in the 40 hours in a week, let's just hypothetically speak, let's say that if you don't make, all right, you're going to get paid, let's say $1,000 in this week, okay? No matter what. Actually, let's make it 800. You're going to get paid $800 in this week. This is your draw. For the hours you will be putting in, you may have to stay later and work and everything. You're going to get paid $800 no matter what for the week. Now, by your sales, if you make more money, okay, if you make more money in your commission than you did on what you're getting paid hourly, you get your commission plus the draw. That's how the draw works, okay? That's how the draw works. That is an actual business plan that they can implement when it comes down to these gig apps. Just letting you guys know. So just start thinking about what we're saying, okay? Then you get a base plus, okay? Base plus means we're going to give you a higher base rate, but you're not going to get paid anything on the back end. You're only going to get paid your tips, which now any of the other fees you were making money on, okay, you're not getting paid that. Okay. Then you have, okay, strictly commission. Everything you get is going to just be tip or a service fee. That is it. Nothing else. The problem with this whole thing is, let's say an order pops up on my screen and I see the order says $13, right? It says $13 for 5.6 miles. In any other situation, that order is a great order. The only time this order switches is when you actually drop it off and you figure out, dang, like it was all base pay and no tip. but you initially took that order for the $13 for the 5.6 miles. We got to figure out what makes the separation on the order not being good, and what are your expectations when picking up an order to actually go ahead and drop off. You also got to take into the account that someone ordering food can just be ordering food, and that's all the money that they have, or they're using a gift card. So always keep those in your head. If those are in your head, you're going to understand that now you can understand the different programs and the tier system. Now you can understand in certain areas, in certain markets, there is an earn by time opportunity. Okay. Earn by time opportunity, like how we have in California, you put your hours in, no matter what, you are going to get whatever the base is. And every delivery that you are doing is pretty much looked at a commission, because the base pay typically is only going to be like $1.50 to $2, which means you made everything off the back end on tips, which goes into, okay, base pay, but a little bit of the draw. You were able to keep all your tips. And by you working, you were receiving this much as a delivery driver. Okay. That's why they have it in certain areas. They have to counterbalance everything. And when I say counterbalance, because they have to always bring it back into their favor, because obviously they have investors. They have people that put in way too much money. We don't know how they strike these major league sports deals behind the scenes. There's other deals that go in that they have to counter everything that's going in to make it come back so that they're making more money. But is there a way out of that? Because if you look at just the total pay, let's take a roadie order, okay? And we'll use one of Sam Lee's numbers that I've heard over the months in the past. I've heard like $100 order going like 50 miles or 60 miles or something like that. He's driving to go ahead and get that order. He knows that's the total pay. He also knows that dealing with this app, that most of the people, there are no tips on it. Okay. Now you have somebody else now. Okay. Let's say they are doing let's say they're doing a Walmart Spark order. Let's say the Walmart Spark order, let's say it's $50, right? It's a $50 order, and it's a GMB order. Okay. Let's say the GMB order for this one is 40 miles. Okay. Now, the difference between both of these is Sam already took the total pay because he knows that's what he's going to get. He's okay with that. He knows that he is not expecting a tip at all. Now, if we look at the other person doing the Walmart Spark order, they're doing 40 miles, dropping off all these orders. They're thinking that every single house they drop off to, they are going to be eligible, which they are, to receive an extra tip on top of the $50 that they just made. Okay. Now the Walmart Spark driver is angry because he's expecting more, but he still took $50 for 40 miles. Sam took 100 for 60. So now we got to look at, base pay versus total pay. All that goes back in now. Now, how much of that $50 from the Walmart Spark was base pay compared to the customer tips? Does that make that a trash order? We got to understand some of the things that we speak about when we're gig drivers and we're up here, and we have people that give a lot of complaints, but you got to understand, if the whole premise of this whole thing is this: if we can do the Men in Black zap your brain to, like, all right, let's say they start putting orders at every order, they start putting every order at $5 base pay, right? But your total order can end up at $7.26 for that drop off. Is that a good order? Or is having an order that says, well, I'm taking it, and it says, well, it's a 475 plus. And people say, well, these diamond orders suck because it's never higher up. But you got to think about what I just said. What if they do a 475 plus? That 475 plus turns into a $7.25 trip, because now you see that the base pay was like $2 and the customer gave an extra tip. What is the difference between the two orders? What is the difference between the two orders? One major issue or difference is going to be that the 475 plus could actually end up at like $10, $12. Okay. Jeff Thomas Black says apps cannot be trusted. He says apps can't be trusted. There are no rules. The end. And that's another thing there, because you want to put out and get these groups formed to start helping other drivers out, but then you got to have a commonality with the apps itself to make a meeting of the hands and connect. And if no one can really do that, it's gonna be crazy. What does Steve say? Let's see. Steve says, he says, Robert, it doesn't matter where the money comes from. The order is evaluated at face value, irregardless. Parameters are the dollars, miles, time, everything else that shows up after delivery. Drop is gravy. Yeah, but see, we have delivery drivers, and that's a good point. Very, very great point. But that's the issue here, is that we got drivers not understanding what you just said, and they're gonna look at an order, and then they're gonna make up all these other things when the order is gonna equal out to the same amount on what they were gonna get anyway. I fully agree. I fully agree with what you say, and we gotta get a lot of people out there to. Now, this is where I agree with UDM. Okay. When it comes to UDM, I agree that he says what he sees as face value, that's what I am accepting. I fully agree with that. That's the exact same thing that Steve is saying there. What you accept is what you're accepting. Everything else on the back end is gravy. Plain and simple. Plain and simple right there. But we got drivers saying, well, because I didn't see it all the way up front, they hit the full dollar amount to trick me in, or they're baiting me in to think that there's something else with the order. They're not baiting you to think that there's something else with the order. You have psychologically psyched out your own mind to think that there was something else going on with the order. They gave you the order for what it was. This is where the app slavery comes in with Jeff Thomas Black. Because of the app slavery, we all know from what Steve just said, from what I agree with UDM say, we agree with this whole thing. As long as we see it good on face value, we will take it. Now, you have drivers like your driver, Mike, with the twin brother. You have drivers like that when I came into this gig space, I was listening to them say that they were saying from $5.50 and $6.50 should be your low ball for accepting an order. Now, I came in the gig space way before that. Okay, I came in with Postmates and all this other stuff before it was even anything. The pay structure was completely different. If it's Monday right now, okay, I gotta wait till because the weekend, I would have to wait till the following Monday to get paid for what I did on Monday. And then Tuesday and Tuesday. So that's how you got paid every single day. The average order was $4.50. You do 20 orders in a day, you end up at $90 on 20 deliveries. From that $90 to $80 to $90 from there, you're gonna end up with like $150 to $178. Sometimes, if you're in the right area, $225 in that day. And that's how Postmates was set up. So I came in way before these guys even knew about what this pay structure was. I'm part of the Rimler versus Postmates, to where I received a huge amount of money from the lawsuits. Okay, I'm one of those. Okay, and they were talking about $5.50, and then they switched it to $6.50. Should be your low ball when you're accepting an order. So now you got to think about this. If $6.50 is, and this has come from Bentley Coop also, if $6.50 is your low ball on what you should accept, you guys are typically saying that is a trash order. So are these content creators out there telling you to take trash orders? And if so, why are you lowering your standards to take these terrible orders? Even Pedro DoorDash Santiago has said, well, this order is not that great. It's $6, but hopefully there's something on at the end of this one. Well, drop the order off, got it. Wait, look, they added an extra 75 cents, and he gets excited off the extra 75 cents. But even he has gone and take these lowball orders. So now you got to think of this. How active are the drivers that are talking about the orders when they're seeing it for face value? Are they doing it one time a week on DoorDash, one time a week on Grubhub, one time a week on Uber Eats? And when they do it, are they doing like a 10-hour shift on DoorDash itself? Because if you got these content creators who are the pillars in what you would say in this gig community, if they're telling you that $6 is an okay order as long as they add like 25 cents, and even you see them go inside the aisles at CVS and they say, oh, this order turned out to be a good one, shop and pay order, they gave me an extra 50 cents for taking a picture of the aisle. But that 50 cents only made that order $7.25, and you still have to go shop for 10 items. Even these people are telling you that, you know, take these lowball orders, but we got to know the frequency on how much or how often they are taking the orders and how many orders they are doing in a day. Because I'll tell you this, if I can nickel it, if I know I'm guaranteed to get 20 to 25 deliveries in a day on one app, I'm going to take just about every single order that they send me on the app. Because I already know that from 20 to 25 orders, how much money I'm going to get, because you got to think that at least 70% of the people are going to tip, which makes your income automatically rise. That's that Sam Lee effect that a lot of you guys don't understand. Now, when you're operating it like that, you're not going to be looking at the base pay. You're just looking at, this is my order. But if you're not doing it at that frequency, you're going to be looking at base pay and total pay and looking at it at face value, deciding on if you're going to take the order. You cannot take the order with your eyes closed unless you're using that Duh app or something else like that. Tip baiting and tip reactions are potential poison that can be discounted. App platforms do vary. Yes, app platforms do vary, which is why if we do a survey poll, most people would rather order from Uber Eats, because they know, first of all, we know DoorDash drivers will Cookie Monster your food in a heartbeat. They'll leave it like in water. They won't drop it off to your apartment number. You don't see the person's face on the picture when they're going to drop off the order. You don't see any of that on DoorDash. But on Uber Eats, you get all of that. On Uber Eats, you get all of that. So you get more protection. We all know you can't change the quality of the food because the apps are on the same restaurant. You cannot change the quality of the food, but the quality of the service can change, which means that drivers on Uber Eats and especially Grubhub, which is why Grubhub's waiting list is just so ridiculous, that the drivers are not going to leave Grubhub because they make so much money on Grubhub if it's popping off in their area. Okay. A lot of drivers like Uber Eats because of the fact that the customers tip and they pay more on that app. Steven says, typically, a driver can only complete 2 orders an hour, possibly 3 orders an hour, but rarely. Not necessarily if you pick up you can actually go into like Chipotle. Chipotle will give you 4 orders at one time over here. And they'll even have you doing this. You'll pick up from, like my wife did this the other night. She had to pick up from the Ono Ono. Then they gave her it was like a Pizza Hut order. When she dropped off the one order across the street, they had her go right back to pick up the other order that she had to. So she got 3 orders just like that, and it was within 15 minutes. Yeah. So they do that also. It just depends on where you live. But typically 2 orders, yes. Typically 2 orders. And if you're doing 3 orders an hour, you should be making close to $30 an hour. If you are willing to drive 2 orders, $7, that's only $14 an hour using your car, gas, labors. It's not profitable. Not necessarily. This is where your interpersonal skill does chip in with making more money. And this is what George Hulk Smash was explaining to Sassy. He said, I don't care about where you come from. I get cash tips because of what my service is. And that's why I show it all the time. And my wife gets them all the time. We show them all the time. And they're not giving us tips because we're in California, because in California, every customer is paying more per order. So they're giving tips based upon your service. You guys cannot leave that factor out there. Some of you guys do, but we got to correct that one. Let me see. Jeff Thomas Black says, he says, Pedro and the other shills sell out to humanity with lies and poverty pimping financial schemes. Yes. Society does lose. Because the society is just going to turn into a just walking around. Like, everyone's going to be driving to a place. Put it like this. I went inside the Walmart and I'm doing a shopping order, right? And I'm speaking to one of the other drivers. And I said, yeah, man, I'll be back. I'm going to go ahead and drop this one off. I got to come on back. The other guy was with his wife and said, I'm lost. What is going on here? He was listening to us speak. We are speaking in driver terminology. So when we looked around, there was maybe about 7 or 8 drivers in one area shopping for customers' food over the regular people that were buying it themselves. And the only other people were the workers from Walmart who were putting all the produce back, the lettuce and all that stuff. But majority of the people over there were drivers. $7 for 10 miles. Really, hardly ever $7. Look, we get, see, a $7. See, now I'm starting to think my wife is bougie now, or I'm bougie, because you said $7 for 10 miles. Really, hardly ever $7 for 2 to 3 miles. Now, see, this is where your markets have to come in. We see $7 for 2 to 3 miles all the time. Like, all the time. $5.50 for 1.5 miles. All the time. Sometimes it's even going like right across the street. Like 0.4 miles. Bigfoot Dasher, hello, how's it going? We see those $6.50 for 2.1. We see those all the time. All the time. And unless the apps are, depending on the state that you are doing the deliveries in, unless the apps are saying, well, if you're in California, I don't know, but we are a busier state, but we have a lot of outskirts here too, where it's slower. We have areas where someone's gonna get like a $5 order going like 8 miles. Like, I've seen those. One of the most ridiculous orders that we've seen last night, they tried to give my wife it was $16 for 14 miles, right? But where the order was going to go to like Camelcia or whatever else it is, that's the middle of no man's land. Who's freaking going to even take that order? Now, I take that back. Sam Lee would have taken that order because it's $1 per mile. You hear him say that, $1 per mile. But that's like one of the worst orders that we're going to see over here. Every now and then you'll get like a really upside down order. But typically the upside down orders that we normally see are going to be like $4.75 for 5 miles or for 6 miles or something else like that. They're typically not giving, at least in my area, orders that is going to make you go and drive and just be ridiculous out there. And also, you got to think about how quick and ready the restaurants are in your area. So if you know that, these areas in these restaurants, you can get them out fast, and you can go ahead and knock them orders out, which is why people should not make fun of Sam Lee at all. His only issue was on DoorDash, he was taking everything and he didn't care about who was getting their order first. He was dropping them off to his own rules. That's what Sam Lee was doing. But as far as picking up the orders, every single order, and making what he was making, here's where you cannot be upset with Sam Lee. We have a few people said that they hit $100,000 in the gig space. Sam has hit, if you put the totals up, about 300K. Dasher Life Hawaii, he's hit 114, said he's about to do that right now also. Now this guy goes out and drives like Bud Soda hours, 20 hours a day, 18 hours a day. If you say that to him, he'll get mad and confront you and say, why are you worried about my hours? Why are you worried about my hours and what I put in? That's what I can do. That's what he'll tell you. Okay. Now, when you guys talk to Sam Lee says, you guys don't get it, man. You guys don't get it. I would rather do $1 per mile because with Prop 22, I'm going to stay busy. That's what Sam Lee says. But they are both in the $100,000 club. You got to ask yourself, which way is more profitable? Sam is just taking everything, but I do believe that Dasher Hawaii might be taking everything also because he's on the island. There's only so much you can do on the island, and the other islands are separated, so there's other islands. So I'm guessing that he's taking everything too. I'm pretty sure he's not up there saying, well, this order looks good, I'm gonna take it, because if he's really trying to outdo 114,000 and doing 18 hours a day and things like that, he has to be a Pac-Man. He has to be a Pac-Man. He has to be a Pac-Man. Or he has to be doing another app like the Roadie, where he's making so much of the money on that app, he's filling it in on the other apps and doing something like that. You got to think. You got to think about that too. Uh-oh, Jeffrey gave somebody a slap yourself warning. I see it. Apps function different in California, Jeff says. Did different continents and economics. It's all fake, all chewed up dog shit. That's what Jeff Thomas Black says. And because we are a busier state, they go ahead and give us these orders. But when you watch grinding all gigs, no, you can do emojis. You just can't do a whole lot of emojis. You can't do a whole lot of emojis. Yeah, Jeffrey don't like that. And I explained it a little bit earlier. Yeah, but you can only do like 1 or 2 emojis, put that thing up there. We get into it just like that. Yeah, because when I watch grinding all levels or grinding all gigs with Levi, right? He does the Walmart Spark exclusively and specifically, and he has to drive like 35 miles to go to work, and then he's getting orders like sometimes $10 for like 15 miles and stuff, 20 miles. But he has to drive those. When he gets there, he says, well, I took a couple bad ones, but I had a whole lot of bangers, and he's making some really good money out there. So I'm trying to figure out, how can we fix it? And drivers shouldn't be complaining if whatever they see, they take. Now I'm gonna get on. Let me see the title of it really quick. Okay, so I'm gonna get on moderators role on YouTube channels. Okay, I'm gonna get on moderators roles on YouTube channels itself. So I don't know if you guys paid attention to Mr. Flex in the lounge. We all know what happened with Torp and Lisa Surly up there using those words. And I know for a fact they all were watching, they listened to my live, they heard exactly what I had to say. And all this time I've been telling people that there's no control over there and everyone cannot have a wrench, and moderators need to know their roles. Jeffrey here on my channel is a moderator that works independently and he has his objectives. I have managing moderators, my wife, the DoorDash Revolution, TFT, and Hulk Smash, George George. Those are managing moderators. Then I have some standard moderators. The main thing is that the moderators know how this channel operates, okay? The functionality of it. We all understand what we believe in on Hot Facts. We understand that you can say things as long as you're not saying them in a ridiculously way, but you can get timed out. You can do things like that. And my moderators know, and especially if I tell the moderators do work, the moderators have free range to go ahead and do what they got to do. I have always said that, and one of my biggest arguments, and here's how you know that they were paying attention to Hot Facts. One of my biggest arguments has always been everyone that goes up there and they have wrenches, and they are actually part of not just a wrench, they're part of the StreamYard. That's different from having a wrench. They are part of the co-host, an admin or a co-host to StreamYard, okay? Which means that you have other capabilities over any moderator out there. You can kick people off of the stage, you can mute them, you can do whatever you want. I have always said, with everybody being up there, how come nobody else does anything? Bobby got mad and left, then they got mad, and Mr. Flex is telling Bobby that you should have removed them or did something else like that because you're a moderator. And that's what moderators do. Well, this is kind of confusing coming from someone that gives a wrench to everyone and says you can say whatever you want. So I'm trying to figure out, when is the moderator supposed to know his role on a channel that has no rules? We got to understand that when you go to the DoorDash Revolution channels, we have moderators there. When you go on certain channels on YouTube and go on their lives, you don't see everyone with the wrench because the moderators are actually part of the team. Okay, you don't see that at all. And I thought it was a cheap way for Flex to try to backskate and slide on out and put the blame on someone else. Just like he tried to put the blame on me and Roy after everything that happened. He tried to go ahead and do that. He even tried to have Roy give me a copyright strike. He said, "Oh, he's restreaming it. Look," because he was trying to wheedle himself out. "He's restreaming it, Roy. Aren't you gonna give him a strike?" You idiot. Come on, Flex. You can't have control over someone else's channel. Roy has control over his channel. He says, "I have Reese blocked, but I'll go up on Necros and I'll be up there and speak." And as you saw, Flex, I addressed him on you trying to get him to give me a strike and what he said about the restreaming or showing it. I actually showed it because he said that. And I showed you that I can. That's what I did it for, Flex. And just like I knew you were going to run in and try to look at what he's doing. Let's blame it on Hot Facts. He made a video almost 9 months ago and it was titled Jussie Smollett. You can't control someone else's channel, man. You definitely cannot control Hot Facts' channel. This dude is on thin ice here, Damian Blaze. I block him at least once a week. Let's see what he has to say. He says Flex just lacks attention, focus, and control when it comes to his channel to be objective. Will you allow and project is something that comes back on him? There's a thing called responsibility. Well, yeah, there is a thing called responsibility, and responsibility is having your moderators. Here comes Jeff Thomas Black. There's something called your moderators need to understand what the damn thing is. And he tried to blame it on Bobby. Like he said, Bobby, you have a wrench, you know, you could have just did it like this. That's what he said. All right. That's what he said. So let me go ahead and actually let me play it for you because I'm the person that put the video up. Let me go ahead and play it for you. Let me see that thing, please. Go to my channel and go on the latest short I just did. Yeah, like this. Yeah, click that and go to shorts. All right, so I sped this up. Okay, I sped it up so that you guys can hear that Flex actually pays attention to. I sped it up to let you guys know that Flex really pays attention to hot facts, and he tried to implement. He tried to implement rules for his moderators on what happened that night. And Torp, I got something to say to you while I'm here writing right now. I got something to say to you. That bullshit ass video you put up calling Roy out over what the hell you did on that channel there, and you got the nerve to sit up here and say, well, they told me they were going to flag my channel, Reese and Eli. First of all, I cannot flag your channel because it did not happen on your channel. So I did not flag your channel. That was the biggest piece of dog shit that you ever said out of your mouth. You tried to make something up. And if you would have watched my live, you said that I'm teamed up with Lisa Surly and we're best friends. Well, if you heard what the fuck I said, she's the biggest idiot of all time for following you and saying what the dumbass shit you said. So if you think that that means I'm teamed up with someone, you're one of the largest idiots of all time. And maybe you got to drink another gallon to wake back up. That's probably what you got to do. That makes no sense on what you said, and to sit up there and say I can say whatever I want is freedom of speech. You guys don't know what freedom of speech is. Roy, I'm calling you out. I want to go on your channel. No, you fucked up, man. You fucked up in a bad way. You fucked up in a very, very bad way, and shame on you for getting up there to try to call out somebody else on the nonsense that you fucking did yourself. You're walking on an island all by yourself right now. People that allow you in, be very, 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 very wary of him. He said that he's going to use freedom of speech and use it however the hell he wants to. He's liable to get your channel taken down because he just don't give a fuck. So, you know, if you bring him up, you know what you're dealing with. So just letting you know. Now let me let you guys hear Mr. Flex try to weasel his ass out and put the whole blame on Bobby for Bobby not doing anything when there was a bunch of people up there. Let's go ahead and listen to this.
Oh my God! Let me say something for the future. For you, like, no, here we go. No, for real though. Instead of hopping off the screen, you could have took him off the screen. Robert, I know you're not seriously putting this on me. No, I'm not putting you up. Not at all. No, it's my fault. I'm just saying, like, instead of saying like I'm gonna step away because they were saying some shit, like as a moderator, like you could have taken him off. You know, if you didn't see me do it, if you didn't hear me, you know, so you could have took the situation. You know what I'm saying? Like for the future, for the next time, just in case. So I'm sorry that I was looking out for myself. I understand. No, Pops, listen. For the future, if you see something like that, if I'm not around, you know what I'm saying? If you see something like that in the future, take it off to me. Instead of taking yourself off the screen. Listen, I understand what Flex is saying, and I don't think you're wrong, but at the same time, I don't think what I did last night was wrong either. I think you know, you were mature to protect you.
Now, check this out. Who calls Bobby Bobs? No one has ever called Bobby Bobs. That was the first time I've ever heard that. Then he has the nerve to say, Bobby, if I'm never around, if I'm not around, just go ahead and remove him. But you were around for that situation. you saw how angry Torp was getting on the lead up on how she was egging him on and egging him on. And the minute that she mentioned Jeff Thomas Black, he erupted. So, yeah.
I'm not even aware of this. I wasn't there. What is
Yes.
just my name?
Yes.
Amatory?
Yes. Your name is the reason how the N-word came out,
Oh, really?
because
I'm
yes,
honored.
he was yelling at her. Uh he was yelling at her saying, name people that I'm getting into it with, that I talk about and stuff like this. So she started naming names. And then when she said, I don't even know why the Rev is hanging around you, she named some other people, and then she named Jeff Thomas Black. And right when, and this is my channel, people, so I'm gonna say what he said. Right when she said Jeff Thomas Black, he said, don't play the nigger card on me. Don't play the nigger card on me. Right after she said Jeff Thomas Black, he called her out to say, who is he getting into it with, and he feuds with. So right when she said that, bam, that's when it came on out, and
I
she
don't have that.
repeated also.
I don't have that
Both
card.
idiots.
I don't have that card. I don't play that card. I don't play those cards. That's
Yeah,
weird. That's weird.
yeah, that's what he did.
Weird shit late at night.
Yeah, he said they were up till 3 a.m. and drinking gallons of vodka, and that's what happened. Then he came out and gave me a thumbs up on one of my comments because I put the barbecue chicken up there, because I'm letting him know he's about to get eaten up. You know, whenever Shaq gets ready to dunk on somebody and kills him, Shaq says barbecue chicken. You don't want Shaq to call you barbecue chicken. So I put up the barbecue chicken, and he's giving me thumbs up and smiling
Oh,
like he don't even realize what the hell he just did.
you know what the goat? You know what the goat Pedro would do? He'd give us a Kobe, a Kobe.
Yeah.
But the goat Pedro would give us a Kobe, a Kobe.
So Jeff, what do you think about Flex
Okay,
using Bobby as saying, well, you should have took him off, but the moderators don't even know what their roles are.
so I've been a little bit under the weather, as people know. I did a show yesterday, but pretty much wiped myself out and went to bed after the show and didn't wake up till 1 o'clock in the morning. So I'm kind of a mess. But anyway, I spend my energy listening instead of broadcasting, which is kind of fun. I like it better. Unfortunately, we have to attempt to save ourselves. So I did get a chance to listen. I listened a lot to Ricky Knight and Necro and you and some other people talk on the lounge last night, not live this morning. I woke up at 1 o'clock in the morning, as I said. So I woke up and I started listening to everybody with what the fuck's been going on with all you crazy people. Not you crazy people. I'm talking about the real crazy people. The ones who call other people crazy, they're fucking nuts. Those guys are fucking nuts. The ones who call other people crazy, out of their fucking minds. So I tuned in there, and yeah. So apparently there was a N-bomb off between two very white people, which is real weird. That's not free speech. It's called hate speech. Everybody knows it. Don't pretend that you just woke up this morning and fell into the gig community. You all live on planet Earth. This isn't new to you. Stop pretending. We don't buy it. Just because the community is underpinned by liars and con men doesn't mean we can all lie to each other and get away with it. Stop it. You're not that good of a liar. Pedro's not a good liar. You're not a good liar either. Everybody's just a bunch of fucking liars. When you film yourself on videotape being a dickbag. You know, Pedro filmed himself on it being a dickbag yesterday, going like, hey, I'm not a financial advisor. I don't know dick about finance, but hey, take some finance advice from me. So there you go. There you go. That's the space that we're in, where dickbags that aren't finance people give you the worst advice on earth. That's the space we're in. And so we've also got a space where people apparently need to test the limits of free speech, not in public, not in the real world, but on a YouTube platform that can and will just dispose of them very quickly. So I don't know. I think that's all real stupid. It's all real stupid. And probably we're all going to be dead too quick to care, because based on what I watched this morning, you know, the experts that are in favor of AI development are saying 2 to 50% chance of human extinction within the next couple of years, 2 to 50%. And some of the best experts say we've got about a 2% chance of survival. And right now we're the first app slaves working for AI, and we pretend
that we have some modicum of control instead of standing up and saying no. And that's what we need to do to all this. Maybe if that's the theme, we need to see no to the racism, no to the lies, no to the bullshit, no to gaslighting each other. I mean, I'm just done with it. I'm calling out the liars and the shills because they're running cons on our community, not because they're anybody of consequence to me. I wouldn't talk to Pedro at all because he's just an actor. Pedro's not even a real person. If anything I've learned over the last couple months with Pedro wavering around in the wind, being a complete and total dickbag, trying to get monetized anywhere, anyhow, with anything, Pedro's just a sellout. He's just sold his name and image on YouTube and he's trying to make it last. He's a piece of dog shit. Pedro's a horrible person. He'll never come on this show or any other show because he's human dog shit. Pedro's a con man and dog shit. And so Pedro, fuck you. Fuck you forever, you piece of shit. I will never, ever give you any courtesy. And to call yourself the king and the goat is just the most hilarious thing ever because you are the most pathetic human being I've ever come across. Pedro, DoorDash, Glitchy Pants, fuck you, Santiago. And so the real problem we got a couple different things. Number one, a lot of our broadcasters, including you, Robert, are in California, where the game of gig apps is completely different. Right? In California and in Seattle and a couple other places, they made gig apps semi-livable poverty jobs. But in the majority of this country, the majority of drivers out there are living in unsustainable poverty jobs and watching people have moderate success in California or other places and thinking, well, maybe I can do it. But the fact is, I saw some of that dickbag asking for sluts. The guy who used to be called Dad Dash and now he calls himself the Rational Driver. And I watched Flexi Pants' Lounge where they were just making merciless fun of that guy while he's right there, which is all real weird. He's always been real weird, which makes me think he's a DoorDash agent because a real person would have some level of shame or some level of care within themselves, some level of pride. This guy has nothing. He's got no personality behind the asking. That's why they laugh at him, is he's just this like deadpan. Like his pitch last night is, if you want to join the cult of rationality. So he's starting a cult. He decided to call it a cult because he's a great marketer. That's what we need, is more cults. The rationality cult. So he's going to offer you spreadsheets with rationality. I mean, this is the dog shit that people are watching for some kind of advice in this world while AI is literally killing humanity and we're all app slaves. None of us are independent in any way, shape, or form. The people in California have it the best because they got Prop 22, which still isn't nearly good enough, but is better than nothing. None of us are going to live long enough ever to get there. You may have seen, Robert, in the community post, I posted a Chris Bowie video I saw last night, the dickbag from Australia, Pedro's buddy. So Chris Bowie,
I've seen him.
Chris Bowie came out and he's fighting. So apparently Australians are standing up against the gig economy fraud, and Chris Bowie's really letting them have it. Chris Bowie's on the Pedro side, on the DoorDash side, on the gig app side, and boy, is that guy a piece of shit, man. We're gonna watch that on the show when I broadcast.
It threw me off when you were saying his name because I call him Boy. Because I was like, well, that's the way it's spelled. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, that guy. Yeah. When Glitchgate popped off, I found out about him because he was telling the Australians not to use the glitch at all because you're going to get deactivated.
Right, and this bitch Bowie also was the guy who said he'll teach you how to get rich with DoorDash. He'll teach you how to get rich with DoorDash because he's going to teach you how to invest it in crypto. So this Bowie fucker is just another financial con man on the internet, right? And so, but this financial con man is out there. So British Columbia has stood up against the province of British Columbia has stood up against the gig apps. Europe standing up against U.S. tech. Australia standing up against them. We don't stand up in our own country, but the rest of the world's going to stand up against being fraud. But the problem is none of us are going to live that long because the AI that's coming out that's already enslaving us, that is going to be tied into every single thing that we do. And once it is, they will close that door on us. We will have no way to function without their technology and without everything that they bring into this in terms of social credit and access to the world. That's why we have to break free now, right? We have to get out of being app slaves now before it's too late. Because once it's too late, by definition, it'll be too late. And so the concept is, that I'm sharing is from a video that that's in my Twitter. We're human chickens in a human chicken farm. And right now the cage door is slightly open. The cage door is closing, and once it closes, we're done. And so when we see this degrading, one of the things that I heard, and I know this is just a lot of stuff, Robert, but you were talking about how much you earn. You were talking about some of those payments. Nowhere, and I know we can't talk about everything at once, but later came up the fact that we've got all the expenses and the maintenance and everything else. Plus, remember that our cost of operations have gone through the roof. Our cost of operations have probably more than doubled, while our pay from DoorDash has been going the other direction, right? And inflation has literally killed us while making DoorDash more and record profits. They don't even recognize that we are alive. We're getting less powerful to DoorDash as app slaves, not more powerful, right? And yapping. Not everybody has the opportunity to multi-app. There are a lot of places where people can't get on more than one or two apps, and so then you can get decapitated, get deplatformed, then you got nothing. So this thing is just a risk bomb. And Major Deliveries talked about getting in an accident, doing $4,000 of damage to his car, which is about what I did. I did about $4,000 damage to my car, scraping it on a parking pole while delivering DoorDash. Man, I'll tell you, don't come back from that.
Now, Jeff, that's the story that a lot of people have, and a lot of people they don't want to talk about it because they don't want to feel a certain way. You know what I mean? But come out and talk about it. It can help some people out there. You got to get out and talk about that stuff. Now, I want to get back onto this moderator thing, because it goes a little bit deeper from just being a moderator, because Bobby is like an admin on the StreamYard studio itself. So those are other capabilities that you have in your possession to do certain things. If one of your admins or your co-hosts, if they're moderators and they don't understand what their role is, that person itself, and they're supposed to be equal to you. If the equal doesn't know what his job is, how can you expect everybody else to go out and just do the damn thing?
Well, here's what's funny, Robert, is that I've heard a lot of people, particularly people like Flex, say, I don't block anybody. Well, Flex has blocked me multiple times, and I know he's blocked other people. So
I'm blocked now.
These guys are liars. So here's the thing. This is the problem. They lie to each other, too. So Flex lies to Bobby. Well, I don't block anybody, Bobby. Don't block anybody. And then Flex expects somebody else to block them. And Flex would have come back and blamed Bobby. He'd have thrown Bobby under the bus, going like, well, Bobby's just a bitch. I wouldn't have blocked you, but Bobby did. And since Bobby didn't, now Flex will come back, because Flex is this kind of guy, and go, well, Bobby should have blocked you. I certainly would have. Flex loves to live in the hypothetical where Flex is never guilty of anything, because Flexi Pants is loony pants. Flexi Pants lives in his own little world, and it has nothing to do with reality.
Because of what he said. Now, do you think, and people watching right now, we got 15 people in here, if you think what Flex's message was to Bobby, if you think that he's going to change the moderation of the lounge, if you think he's going to make a positive change with the moderation of the lounge, give him 1. If you think that he just did that just to say it on camera, leave a 2. Okay? Yeah, so leave a 1 if you think he's going to make a positive change, with the moderation of his lounge, and leave a 2 if you think he just said that just to say it.
I laughed out loud.
Yeah, because that's something that we have to pay attention to.
My personal experience, when I asked Flex not to use hate speech toward me, he used hate speech directly toward me in that very moment. I've noticed the same thing with the community member known as Always Cherry Pick. When I asked them not to use hate speech, they respond with hate speech. So these are people that get exactly what they want, because they do exactly what they want. And if Flex is blaming anybody else, that's just a bunch of bullshit. Flexi Pants is responsible for his channel. He's just a coward. He's just a coward.
Now, coming from seeing, because like all of this is crazy, knowing that he's got the 2 strikes, he's on that 90 day, probation period, and it just seems like he does not care about that at all. If from me on the outside looking in, I gotta ask everybody this: would you have, especially on your channel, would you have Torp Up, Cherry Pick, and Roy and Lisa on the same screen together? Oh, and throw in that sick freak Digital Nomad. Throw him in there too. There's no way in the world you're gonna have any combination of 2 of the 5 up there at one time. That's 5 people that is going to explode and blow up your spot.
Well, what's the point? I mean, so you get accused of drama or I get accused of drama. What's the point? I talk about human survival on my show. I don't have a fucking clown car full of drunks.
Yeah, see? And look, Bigfoot Dasher said, hell no, he would have any combination of those 5, any 2 that get together is crazy. But I would just like to say this to the content creators out there who have channels, and you tend to say that you are a respectable person. You don't stand for any of these things that go on. Action, when they say a call to action, okay, you are being called to action to see how well you stand on those words. Because if there was ever going to be a blackball or a punishment, this is where it should be going down. And
I said the same thing, Robert. I said the same thing in our discussion on on Saturday. I said the same thing on our discussion on Saturday. Nobody is going to come to save this community from fraud. We're the people that they're defrauding. We are the people being scammed. We are the people enslaved. So if we want order in our own community, let me just tell you that I got a friend who is in the tribal community. And let's just say if someone in the tribal community was to molest a child, the tribal community would take care of them themselves. If you know what I'm saying, Robert. And I'm not going to go any further. But there's certain things that don't go down because they don't fucking go down. And so we need to start taking care of our own community. And if people are running payday loan scams, I'm going to be up their fucking ass, and I hope you are too. And if people are being racist and hate-filled people, then I'm going to be up their ass. Look, I didn't know, but apparently I'm blocked on the No Giggity No Clout community channel. And I assume the only reason that would happen was when somebody posted, I guess it was Hector of that channel, posted a racist photo. I called that out immediately. I went ape shit and said, come on my fucking show or take the fucking thing down or whatever. I kind of flipped my shit. And so I'm blocked now. But, that's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. You're going to get called out if you do stupid shit. We got to call each other out. And look, the reason I'm not against Hector or against No Giggity No Clout, they did the right thing. Everybody can make a mistake. Everybody could maybe slip something up or do the right thing. Now that I didn't agree with that for 5 seconds, but give them credit. At least they took it down. They didn't spend, I mean, they maybe even excused it, but they didn't spend tons of time arguing. They took it down and said, look, somebody's sensitive to this. We need to do better. And I don't got any problem with them now, even though I'm blocked. But we got to start policing our own, because nobody's going to protect us from the fraud of the corporate world. Nobody's going to protect us from genocide. Nobody's going to protect us from defrauding each other, which is why Pedro's running his little, payday loan sharking scam so shamelessly. There's no law here. So we got to police our own. We got to stand up for ourselves. And the same thing goes if all of our brothers and sisters in California are surviving in lower middle class or in upper poverty, and the rest of us are sucking hind tit and dying, we can't say DoorDash is a good thing because 10% of people in our nation are doing okay with it, because most of us are doing terrible. And that's the gig economy. We've got to start focusing on the community as a whole is dying and starving and going more homeless and going more carless by the day. We've got to quit holding up the people that are winning and go, but look, we're like the casino. We're just the casino. We put out billboards of the winners and everybody else loses. We got to stop putting out the fucking billboards of the winners. We know there's winners at fucking casinos. It's not me. It's not you. We know there's winners in the fucking lottery. Somebody's going to be a new billionaire this month. And you know what? They're going to die just like you are. They're going to die just like I will. just as soon, which could be real fucking soon if we don't wake up. So I'm just saying we got to do better, man. We got to start policing our own. The government is not going to come protect our community. And I appreciate what you've done too, like calling out this bullshit. I've done the same thing. It's like, look, man, I'm not the cops. I'm just one guy, but I'm going to be up your ass. I'm going to be one guy up your ass. I'm not a vigilante, but I'll be one guy up your ass, and I got freedom of speech, and I can say a lot.
I got something for Flex. You said we got to police our own and everything. I am willing to do this. Flex, I know you're watching. You cannot say you're not watching. I know you're watching. I am willing to do this. I am willing to have a person of the team HotFacts be on stage up here with me. And I would like to have you up here with a representative of your side. So we are coming up with someone there. And I say, let's get up here and let's talk about the pros of the gig space that we are a part of. Let's talk about nothing but the pros, no cons. The stipulation is we only speak about the pros, nothing negative, to see how much positive feedback we can get from each other. I would like to have one of my representatives up on stage with me, and you have one of your representatives up on stage. Because of everything that has gone on, and I am the official news channel, I do feel that the news channel needs to go ahead and have a sit down with the controversial channel that has had all this stuff happen to it. I would like to do it in a respectful and civilized manner, to where when you have the floor with your time limit. You're not gonna have any interruptions there, and we will only speak. Okay, we will only speak about the positives. Damian Blaze, you got to slap yourself from Jeffrey. That's 1, 2, 3, 4. Yeah, 5 people. You can't do 5 people. Jeffrey ain't playing. Jeffrey said slap yourself. So yeah, this is what I'm putting out there. Cruising Dasher says that's a great idea, Reese. I believe that if we can actually go ahead and get past this, we can have an open dialogue, and let's just talk about the pros. No cons, no negatives. We're only going to talk about the pros so we can hear the positivity that we can put out there for each other. I am willing to do that, and I'm saying it officially on the news channel, and that's what I got to say.
Robert, can I ask a question about this?
Yeah, go ahead.
In calling this out, so I think it's a great concept. It's a great concept, and it's definitely a great idea. It's a way to bring people together of divergent points on a topic where there's going to be more chance of agreement, because it's going to be positive things, and nobody's going to try and shoot down the other people's positive things. But are you doing this because you perceive that their side is pro gig app, and they see you as anti gig app? Is that why you're doing this? Because you think that they're pro gig app and they see us as the people trying to ruin the party? Is that it?
Oh, I think they see me as, forget like the gig apps, just complete party pooper to like the whole party. Like he showed up with a notepad.
The organized crime, the gig apps, the gangs, the pyramid schemes, the whole thing. You're just no fun.
Yeah.
Okay.
So this would be a way to have a first sit down and have a representative of his side. Obviously, we can have 10 people up here, but one representative, I'll have a representative up, and we can go about and just go over the positives. And I think that, from everything that it's the end of the year and it's supposed to be getting happy, it's becoming more sad. So this would be a way to fix it. I know people out there say, well, Reese and the Revolution always speak about certain things. Well, here's what we always do. We speak about solutions. And if there's a problem out there and there's no solution, then how are you going to be able to cross that bridge? You have to be able to come up with a solution that everyone can actually get along with. And no one should have an issue with being positive. No
Okay.
one should have an issue with being positive.
No, that's real good. Now, I want to make a point about coming up with a solution, though. It is not always incumbent upon stopping a system of fraud and abuse. You don't have to know what comes next after slavery to say slavery needs to stop. Okay, because that's one of those ways that people keep progress from happening. They go, well, we would stop app slavery, but what would come next? Well, here's what would come next. Anything in the fucking world which would be better, that's what would come next. So we don't have to know which apps or how technology would be used or how vehicles would be used or how our labor force would be used if the gig apps disappeared. We know that they would, right? And so that's different than saying, we need to take some action. So what actions, if we know that this change is coming, and we all see it coming like a freight train, right? We all know we're making less money than we did 3 years ago and 2 years ago and 1 year ago. That's not a fucking secret to anybody but Tony Hsu, who denies our existence. We also know that we're watching these companies have record profits and say that things are booming. Well, we are, not getting food, housing, or medical care. And we learn that our health insurers are denying our claims with faulty AI software because there's no law that says you have to use good software. I could just use bad software to process all of your needs, Robert. And it's not my fault because I just process your needs with bad software that's designed to destroy you and deny you medical care. So my point that I'm slowly getting around to is to stop a massive scheme of fraud and abuse like slavery or app slavery. You don't have to know what's next. You just need to know something's next. Now, what action can we take? I said in my book, and which a year ago, the first chapters of the book were published. So I put my stake in the ground a year ago that we were already here at the Singularity. We are, because people don't know they're working in a video game world. They're not working in the real world. So the point is, we will have to take action as the first and best victims of AI. We're the lowest class. We're the easiest victims. We're the immigrants. We're the women. We're the Black people. We're the unemployed. We're the old. We're the young. We're the uneducated. We're the overeducated. We're the people that AI shut out of jobs in the job market because AIs have been filtering your resumes for years. I mean, AI put you here. Now you're here because AI put you here. We have to make the decision. What do we do? What can I do? The only thing we can do is refuse to be slaves to technology. And it's going to mean taking these cell phones and all these apps in this fake world that we're being forced to live and work in and getting rid of it and then getting our life back in our local economies with our local people looking each other face to face. And
But at the same time, Jeff,
here's the upshot, Robert. Here's the upshot. When you got to look Flexi Pants face to face, it's going to be even more personal than when we got to look at them on the YouTubes. We're going to have to survive together with the people like Flexi Pants and
that's
other
what
people
I'm saying.
right? We're going to have to survive a world potentially where the corporate world's basically trying to kill us. This is basically our side. So we better find some friends.
Yeah, because of this part right here, like that, all of that right there. But when you got to speak on positives, you're going to have to force yourself to think of other things, to think of what you really want to say and how you feel, to put it out there in a positive way. It's going to make someone have to really think about themselves while this is going on.
The positives are also, look at what the positives, because I like the conversation. Look at, if you take the positives, what are the positives? The positives are us because we are real. The positives are never the company. The positive is the feeling that we get from having work, the freedom that we have from being treated well as opposed to being abused by somebody that's called a boss. The freedom to choose when we want to work, those things. Now, some of those are just illusions and you don't really get those things. They're just promised to you. But
right.
But the positives.
I want to bring in though, Jeff. I want to bring in also. So here's how I want to have this done. I want Flex and Bobby, myself and TFT or with the Rev or whichever one wants to go ahead and hop up in there. I want Necro and Ricky because of the issues going on with them over there and the lounge. We can get that's six
Here's
people.
the thing that happens though. So Necro and Scrimpy, you know, so Scrimpy is doesn't have a face behind it. Necro does, and they're in a dispute because they did not see eye to eye in the way that that the issue was handled with a person who
The nasty ass freak. He was up there yesterday, and I had to hop off.
The guy, so you had some conversation with a guy who surreptitiously films people. You called that out in the community as potentially dangerous and abusive. But my point isn't to dig that up. But my point is that like two positive members of the community, Scrimpy and Necro, now don't like each other. And it's not that they don't like each other. Why don't they like each other? Because they disagree about a scumbag. That's the part that sucks. Like, what if they could at least disagree about, like, you know, something good in the world, but they disagree about a scumbag, right? And what are we disagreeing about? If we're disagreeing about Lisa, Surly, and Torp, instead of worrying about how we're going to survive the fucking coming apocalypse, which is obviously coming, we're worried about Lisa, Surly, and Torp. Do you have any idea how little concern I have for Lisa, Surly, and Torp other than to wish them both the best with my best Pedro prayer hands? Look, Lisa, Surly, and Torp, I wish you the best. I don't fucking care, man. We are slated for death right now, and I'll be playing the next For Humanity podcast on my show tomorrow. We're gonna have John Sherman on the show, the host of it. We're gonna have some of the foremost AI experts on the planet. Here's what I'm telling you, Robert. This is the fucking breaking news. Do you know that we, the gig economy, are the first community to stand up against AI in the whole fucking planet? That's us. We started it. We fucking started this with Glitchgate. You guys don't know how significant you are. You people are you guys are the pamphleteers. You guys are the patriots. You guys are the people fighting for the human race. And if you don't fucking know it, you go back and check old Jeff Black in a year. If I'm still alive, you're going to know I was right. If we're all dead, then you'll know I was right too.
All right, now that's a great pause for that segment there. Go ahead and hit that so I can see my title there really quick. Okay, so I want to go ahead and I spoke about something positive, you know, and it has to do with the guy Yup, Yup, the guy that looks like Donnie Wahlberg, and Yup, also there's some positivity in what he does. Yup actually wears the same hats that Eli wears, and I think it's hilarious that he wears an alpha hat, a Kango. I have Kango hat and everything else there, and I think it's a good thing that he dresses like Eli and he looks like Donnie Wahlberg. So he was talking and speaking on the lounge last night, and I heard him say 5-5 crazy. And I was like, no, he is not doing C-Mac's voice and all this other stuff. Before C-Mac went to jail, before he got out, I got to get the talks back up and going. I was on the ODM Slim show, C-Mac's old manager, and we were supposed to be getting something in with having C-Mac appear on camera and everything else, and doing an interview, because a lot of people don't understand, you know, what he does. First of all, he is a biracial, popular gang member who is schizophrenic, and he's open about it. He takes you to his doctor's appointments and everything. But what he does, Jeff, is this. He has a passion for feeding the homeless. He goes down to Skid Row. He goes and has people make soul food. He gets deals from restaurants. He goes and buys food, and he passes it out to all the homeless who live in like the tent cities, right? On top of that, when he goes to a restaurant, or if he goes to a taco truck, or if he goes where there's a server, a waiter, no matter what it is, he's giving $50 tips to $150, $55 cash tips to people. He's going to places and buying out the whole taco truck and say, just pass the food out for free. How much does it cost to buy all the food for the day? He's doing things like that. And he's putting extra money into delivery drivers' pockets, whether they know about him or not. And Cherry Pick, Yup was trying to speak about CC Mac, and Cherry Picking them said, we don't know who he is. We're not into that stuff. Well, you said you're not into someone. This is why I said let's bring out the positives. He feeds the homeless. He gives clothing, food. He gives like the hugest tips to the delivery drivers. He buys out the taco trucks. He does all this stuff. He speaks about being mentally challenged and the effects of it with the mental health awareness thing. He does all of these things, and these are all positive things that you said you're not into that. Well, this is why I want to have this sit down, because you just heard someone's voice, a name, and Yup said, well, he's a gang member, but this is what he does. And you were like, well, I don't like that, but you'll listen to Snoop Dogg, you'll listen to 50 Cent, you'll listen to Fat Joe, you'll listen to Jay-Z, you'll listen to all these people who use the N-word and do all this stuff, but someone that's going out there giving out free turkeys on Thanksgiving and all this other stuff, you said you had no interest, which is why I wanted to do this announcement to try to see if we can get a sit down so we can talk about the positives, because it's kind of hard not to know who C-Mac is, especially when HotFacts watches his stuff, and I've been in talks with him. Chances are at some point through the algorithm, you're going to see a C-Mac video just like Yup did. And I just challenge you guys to go ahead and take a look at what he's all about and what he's doing, okay? He tells the kids, don't do this stuff, don't do this. I chose a life that is meant for destruction. You're only going to jail or you're going to die, but you have a choice to change your life and do it right. That's his whole thing right there. So, I challenge you guys to look and see what he does, and then look to see if you are a cheap delivery driver, because he gets $55 tips all the time. $155 tips all the time for people just doing their job. And he says, we got to take care of you because you're serving us. So he's looking at everybody else in a completely different way. Well, like Jeff Thomas Black said, we're worried about Torp and Lisa Surley and Torp's wife saying, I think you guys like each other in a weird way. Everyone was kind of wanting to listen to when that was going to pop out. We're listening to that, not thinking about how the AI is really going to be coming in and overtaking a lot of the jobs and from the high structure and everything else. And we're not looking at all of anything. Yeah, we're not doing any of that. So I challenge you guys to go look at C-Mac. Just type up CMAC 55 after. I challenge you guys just to go type him up and see exactly what he does. And then you tell me if you would have ever thought this person would be a genuine person like this. Yeah, he said he's been through so much in life. There's no need to treat civilians how you would do with people who are soldiers.
So that's the same thing. That's the same philosophy I have, Robert, from the other end. People ask me, why haven't I monetized? Why don't I monetize my channel? Why don't I sell my book? Why don't I do this with money? Why did I pay to make my own films? Why do I, basically fund my own life with my own labor? I essentially, barter for housing with my work, because I'm a very good. Very, very good cleaner and washer and fixer of things. And so, I stay alive to write because that's the most valuable thing I can do with the time that I have left, Robert. There's nothing else I could do for humanity or my kids other than be here for you guys, with you guys, because this is the fight. I want to emphasize this again. I could cry right now to tell you, you guys are it. You guys, Jeff Uber, Jeep Arizona says it too. You guys are the 300, man. You're the 300. Don't fucking think you're not. You're the 300. You are the 300. You're the ones that are going to save the world if it's going to be saved, because you're the first best victims. By the time the computer programmers and the middle class figure out they've been replaced, it's going to be way too late for us. We'll already be starving to death and homeless. They're letting us go starve already, too. You're the 300, man. You guys are the 300.
It's like that. Well, it's like that because I feel like, as being someone that stands up and you know, when they say what's going down, I'm one of the people that steps across that line and put the staff down and say, hey, I'm ready here. I'm ready here for the fight. And it's been coming so hard in waves. Like we have to sit in between that rock and that crevice and say, let them all come through here to come and challenge us. You know, we can control this. We can't run out there and fight them. And
Now listen,
yeah.
this is where DoorDash Revolution, the Rev, is doing a documentary of this gig space. People may think that's almost funny in some ways, and I guess it could comically be, but we never know where we fit with history. The fact is, this gig space and you guys right now are the fight for human survival. If we survive, if humanity survives, they're going to look back on what you guys have done here.
Oh yeah.
Guarantee it. I'm just fucking telling you, man. This is it. You guys are the first labor fight in the world against the gig economy, and it was my goal in life to help you guys get that started with the book, which is why I don't give a fuck what happens to me from here on out. It's going to all be fine. There's going to be a book and everything else, and I want to survive. But my goal was to kick off a labor movement for the world, so that you guys could be your own leaders, because that's the only answer. You're it. You're all we got. Thank you for your service. Thank you for your service.
Appreciate that. But people, you got to also think this. I don't think a lot of you guys understand that the government, you know, we work for China, and we all know the technology and the things that China is implementing. We all work for China, so with
we
all
all
the
work
AI,
for China and the corporations. China and the
yeah,
corporations and the U.S. government. We're all slaves.
yeah, and everything that's going to happen, China could, these gig apps, you know, China and the AI could be changing the whole landscape of it and put all that stuff over here, and then we're going to be in trouble. So I want you guys to start thinking of positives that we can do. We're going to go ahead and head on out of here. We've been on for 1 hour and 36 minutes.
Yeah,
Everyone
man.
knows, you guys know I can't be doing 2, 3 hour, 4 hour lives. My throat starts to hurt. I just ain't got that much wind in me. I'm
Gonna end
long-winded,
up
but
in
it's
bed
short.
like me.
Oh yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and do it like this, because I know Jeff has got something to say about this. You already know the final words. Go ahead, bless these people with your final words, man.
Thanks, man. The word is unity. Like, none of this stuff makes any difference. There has never been a time in anyone's life here where money was less meaningful than it is today, because none of us are making enough to survive. We're already down below the threshold of what it takes to survive, and these gig apps are taking us lower. So you don't want to wait till you hit that cement floor on the bottom, to start picking yourself up. Start picking yourself up while you still have a little bit left. Start picking yourself up before the cage door is closed. People are figuring this out. You guys are all figuring this out. It's not worth it. The risk is too high. We got to demand more. And we got to just put these fuckers out of business, because you can't fix DoorDash. You can't fix Uber. You can't fix Lyft. You cannot fix corporate AI. It's black box AI. All you got to do is listen to any of the experts on the planet. And remember, nobody that broadcasts to you in the gig economy, not Zach or Kim or Pedro or Hannah Balls or the rideshare guy, none of these people are experts in anything other than convincing you to perpetuate your own slavery. None of the broadcasters on the corporate side are experts in a damn thing other than convincing you to perpetuate your app slavery. So free yourself now before it's too fucking late. How about that? You guys have a great day. And thank you, Robert, for letting me get a few words in on my day off. It is another day off, and I'm enjoying it. But great to see you guys, everybody. I'll see you hopefully, if I'm feeling good, tomorrow morning. Thanks, Robert.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Thank you for stopping by, people. That was the one and only Jeff Thomas Black right there, people. Go ahead, you know, go to his channel. It is hilarious. He slows it down and speeds it up, and he can do like impersonations. He can also juggle. I've seen him juggle. He's a good dude. And you guys didn't catch it. He said, "Thank you for letting me get in a couple words on my day off." We all know Jeff is a walking thesaurus. Okay. I'm gonna leave my final words with this. Okay. If anybody is watching and they are in talks with Flex, let him know what my proposal is. I want to have Bobby and Flex up here, myself and TFT, or a member of my team, Necro and Ricky. That's 6 people there. I would love to have 8 and have 2 more people from a different channel, and that's what they got. I would love to have that on there for the discussion of positivity. We can't bring up anything. If it's a con, it can't be a con to put anyone down or anything else like that. We have to bring a con up to talk about the positivities of it. It'll be held in a respectful way. When you're on the clock, you're on the clock. Said good day to the Reeses. Thank you so much, Bigfoot that Dasher. You get your time limit. We go about it like that. And with everything that has been going on, this will be a way to go ahead to try to fix some things and come with at least a solution. No one will ever say that I cannot come up with a solution. I'm coming up with something. Hopefully we could have this happen. Someone passed this message on to Flex and Necro's crew. I'll probably tell Necro and them later on. Someone tell Flex's crew, and also Dad Dash, the frontline driver. I think that's his name. I don't want to say it wrong. Once again, apologies to you, sir. They were clowning you hella hard. They go ahead and, man, they went at you hella hard and then said nothing to your face. So got to make sure that you understand what's going on there. I do apologize because that was jacked up. Robert, you do know that moderators cannot moderate moderators, correct? Well, when you have a managing moderator can do some similar things as what you are the host can do, but also you have to understand this, that managing moderators means, especially on my channel, when TFT is in there, my wife is in there. See, TFT is a co-host and Revolution is an admin, so I cannot have them on the StreamYard and watch the chat and moderate right there. My wife is the warrior on the actual YouTube site itself. When there are things going on and we need information to be put out there, she can go out there and put things out. My other managing moderators can go ahead and put things out. When it comes down to answering questions about the channel and upcoming events and things like that, my managing moderators have the knowledge of that, and the standard moderators don't have the knowledge of that at all. Not all moderators are managing moderators, though. Exactly. That's the whole point. Exactly. Exactly. So right now, right now, if I tell a moderator, all right, let's say there's someone inside here, right? And someone is doing something, they have said something ridiculous, just like crazy, right? And the managing moderators knows what the get down is. The managing moderators, they have full capability to kick you out, ban you, and do everything. Here goes TFT right here. TFT is right on cue, one of my managing moderators. TFT removes comments and things like that and takes care of them. If there is anything extra that a regular moderator will have to do, I'll just say moderators do work, Thunder. But I don't have a whole lot of moderators. Like, look at my chat right now. Look at my chat. You got Jeff Thomas Black, you got TFT, and you have Jeffrey. You have my wife. Okay. That's exactly what you have there. So you don't see a blue wrench on every single thing that's on there. I have 4 managing moderators and I have a plethora of standard moderators, and they come over here and they help moderate the channel because they understand the flow. I have control over here, and if anyone doesn't think I have control over here, all I have to do is say moderators do work, and then you'll see where the control is. So with that being said, people, we're out of here like Chuck Woolery in 2 and 2. We've been on for 1 hour and 44 minutes. See you guys later. That comes from the Reeses, the HotFacts crew, my wife, my assistant, TFT, George John George, Hulk Smash, Uber Jeep AZ, Spokesman Cornbread, and the Ace the Revolution. It seems most your viewers are moderators when I come here. That's kind of hard. That's kind of hard to see because I'm like, you're in here, and that's not what it shows.
Hey, hold up a minute. I had to chime in.
I think TFT got something to say real quick before we head on off.
Yeah, sorry for missing the show. I was kind of busy with this DoorDash Shop Pay thing they had going on. I got an email being invited to a Shop Pay Pro program that they're bringing out, I guess, in our area. But so I don't know what y'all talked about. I'll catch a replay on it. But I wanted to chime in and say hi, everybody. Hope you all having a great day. I didn't intend on working, but I got roped into one order at least. And I hope you all stay safe and stay blessed out there.
How's the wife, man?
She's going to take some time. Her next appointment's still, a couple weeks away. So, but she's doing good. She's doing good. Just battling the standard complications from being on too much narcotics, constipation, stuff like that.
Yes.
Other than that, she's doing good. I'm glad you guys are doing all right. But I had to come in and say hi.
Oh yeah, you're saying hi. AZ Prod said, great show, brother. Thank you so much for this show. I have a proposal for Flex in them. I want you to, when you go back and take a look, I want you to take a look at it and see what it is. Actually, here it is here. I want to be able to have a sit down here on this chat channel. I want Bobby and Flex, myself and you, Necro and Ricky. Okay? We all have a representative. There's going to be rules. You get a time limit. You cannot bring up any negatives or any bashing to anyone. We're only going to speak about positives so we can see that there is a bigger thing going on. We only bring out the positives and speak about things to try to walk over this bridge and try to fix some of the stuff that's been going on. So that's a proposal that I sent out to him during this live stream. So hopefully the message gets on to him and we can make that happen. But people, we out of here now. Thank you for coming on in, TFT. But people, we out of here like Chuck Woolery in 2 and 2. See y'all later.